This makes him see you as the most important woman in the world. In this video, you will discover how to make a man make you a priority, who puts you first, who picks up the phone, initiates, and instead stops to take you for granted. Now, comment below this video if you are ready to make a man crave you above anything else. I'm, of course, your host, Antia, founder and creator of the Magnetize Your Man method. And this is the channel where we magnetize your man so that the man you want desires and pursues you forever. Of course, if you like anything about this background, about what I wear, my earrings, anything else, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And of course, share it with all of your lovely girlfriends. And of course, wait until the very end, until you find a very practical tool that you may not expect on how to make sure that the man makes you a priority. So let's go ahead and dive right into the 5 signs that make him see you as the most important woman in the world. Number 5, healthy self-focus. Now, what we oftentimes think is the more I care about other people, the more I focus on other people, the more I love on other people, the more I give to other people, the more, especially men, give back to me. So the more I make the man a priority, the more he makes me a priority. Okay, hold the phone, girlfriend, because put the brakes on, okay? Because you need to actually learn to focus on yourself. You see, the kind of man that you attract into your life, the quality of man you attract into your life is directly proportional to the relationship you have with yourself, not that you have with him. You see, and this is where so many women get really upset because they think they gave all their power away. They are always so compassionate. They are always so generous, but yet they're attracting takers and men who take you for granted into your life. This is why. Treat yourself like a queen. Put yourself first. Make yourself a nice appointment in your calendar that you're not moving even when the man requests it, right? He's like, oh, I'm available on Thursday night. Oh, I'd love to hang out with you on Thursday night. Unfortunately, that's when I have my yoga class. How is Friday night? Okay, so that's like really important. It's like, because the man will test you. He wants to see, can he sway you? Are you a queen? So comment below this video if it's easy or hard for you to focus on yourself, and what have you learned from your parents to do in order to be liked and get the man that you desire to have. Number 4, a queen holds. Have you ever noticed those women that seem to have this mysterious flair? There's just something about them. It's just magnetic. And men, they're just like flocking like bees to honey. And you're also wondering, wow, what is this woman all about? Well, she knows how to hold. She doesn't speak all the time everything that's on her mind, but she also holds it. You see, she's able to hold tension. She's able to flirt because she's able to hold tension. She has people read off her lips, hang on her lips. Okay, and the reason why is because there's this open loop. What happens next? What's going on inside of her? Like, what does she really believe? Is she connected to a higher power? Is she connected to God? Like, where is she taking that self-confidence from? So there's a lot of unanswered questions that arise in a man that make him extremely attracted to you, because ideally he spends the rest of his life trying to answer those questions. Now, in the meanwhile, you allow yourself to be that unknown, because Don Miguel Ruiz says, We are the unknown to ourselves. So why don't you allow yourself to be the unknown to yourself? So next time, when you go into a social setting, when you go into like a community gathering, whatever the case may be, and you may have had certain experiences there, and you have made certain thoughts, certain emotions, instead of calling up your girlfriend right away and sharing it with someone right away, what would it feel like for you to actually let that metabolize and percolate inside of yourself and build and play, so you're learning how to harness energy, how to harness power. And then, of course, that is highly magnetic because people can feel, oh, there's something different about you. What are you doing? You know, my client, yeah, they sometimes feel like my friends for sure, because I love them so much. But my client just told me the other day that she said, you know, her friends are coming to her and say, what's going on with you? Like, you look so different. You're so relaxed. What's going on? Your energy shifted. What's happening? You know, and it's of course because she holds. So try that out. Now, of course, if you have like more questions, how in the world do I do all of that? And I would love also some feedback on some of my questions, then join my free Magnetize Your Man Facebook group, mymfbgroup.com. Now, number 3 is trust. Yes, this sounds simple, but I'm going to go into 3 concepts: self-trust, and of course also trust to a higher power, then ultimately also other trust. Because you see, a man actually, for him, it's really important for you to trust yourself, right? He wants to actually know, where are you right now? And are you aware where you are? Now, in the research that my husband, has done over the years while he was working with amazing, powerful men, is that they actually like to know where they're at with you. They don't necessarily care about how you feel, if you're like sad or if you're angry or if you're happy, but they want to know, where are you and what's your game plan? Right? So, you know, so for you to say, you know, I really trust myself to communicate to him that I felt a little bit of a hesitation when we met last time, because what percolated for me was, you know what I mean? There's like conversations that are coming up for me that I feel a little hesitant around, that I would like to talk more about. Or, you know, I feel like angry right now, and this is what I'm planning to do with it. When I met my husband, Brody, I actually also told him, for example, what attachment style I have and how that shows up in everyday life, right? So I would say, you know, my attachment style is anxious. Now I'm, of course, even more distinguished, right? Fearful, avoidant, and so on, anxious, ambivalent. So there's many different styles, right? But I wanted to simplify it a little bit for him. And I said, so what that means is, you know, it can show up, I can start to become out of the sudden needy, but then when I notice it, then I back off because I want to resource myself, because I don't want to put it onto you. And so it was beautiful, right? We just really have this honest conversation that then, of course, fostered more what? Trust. And then, of course, it's about trust to a higher power, right? Are you actually taking time for yourself to actually connect with your, what I call the wise woman, right? To actually like meditate, to pray, to journal. But this is part inside of you that the man has nothing to do with, right? It's all about you and your relationship with God, right? So that's another piece. And then from that place, other trust builds automatically, because usually who you are is what you project. So if you trust yourself, if you are in your, what I call queen integrity, you then also project the king integrity in him. And chances are that you're going to pull that out of him. So try that out. Let me know how it goes. And of course, I'd like to know right below in the comment section, which of those trust levels have you the most success with, and which one do you struggle the most with, right? The self-trust, other trust, or trust to a higher power. Number 2 is being interdependent, right? You don't want to be codependent. You don't want to be independent. You don't want to be like, you know what? I don't really need anyone. I don't even know why I'm here, why you're here, or like, I got it. And so obviously that's what you don't want, because that obviously diminishes polarity immediately inside of yourself. So you don't want to do that, right? You also don't want to do codependency, because that of course also starts to stifle after a while, right? Because it really disempowers both parties, because they're saying, I can't live without you, you can't live without me. And there is like the individual identity is missing. However, when you're in interdependence, you have an individual identity, right? Like with your girlfriends, or you go to work, or you have your own spiritual practice. And then you have the couple identity. And this is, of course, when you go on beautiful dates together, when you spend evenings together, when you share intimate moments physically, emotionally, energetically with each other, right? And it's like different archetypes that are being fed in different parts, right? So like some archetypes are being fed more when you're spending time by yourself, which is really important in order to be balanced. And then some archetypes are better nurtured and nourished actually within the couple relationship identity. So really powerful. So that's really important, because the man actually wants to know, I have my freedom, right? But also, I have this warmth, I have this fuzziness, right? I have this emotional map that I may have a harder time to get to, if that makes sense. All right, so if you want to learn more about a powerful psychological trigger to make any man beg and plead to be with you, then hop on over to triggerhisdesire.com, because that will really support you in helping a man make you a priority, no doubt about it. And of course, number one, surprise him, right? Like a woman who is the most important woman in the world for the man, surprises him. Now, let's talk about what that actually takes. You have to surprise yourself. You actually have to let go of who you know yourself to be, and holding on to certainty and holding on to control, but instead do something different that surprises you. I just talked with my client yesterday and really saying, when you're in a new town, everything is so new, right? You treat everything in such a new, exploring way, almost like a tourist. But how can you do that in a normal environment, in an environment that you're in every day, like in a work environment that you're in every day, right? Or maybe you're in an environment with a family every day. How can you have a surprising, how can you surprise yourself, right? So one aspect is, of course, you can shift perspective. So you can say, oh, I see this from this perspective differently than I see it from this perspective. I was bringing the example of when you go to the grocery store, it's probably different if a businessman goes to the grocery store or if an interior designer goes to the grocery store. They're going to pay they're going to pay attention to different things. So how can you bring that into your life and surprise them, cause a state change, right? The best thing you can do that is an online dating, right? You can surprise them because you can actually write something very unexpected, not what every woman writes in her profile, but really something unexpected, right? Like something that teases him. Maybe you just tell a story, one or two sentences, and tell him if he wants to find out more to message you. All of that can really lead to a tremendous amount of attraction. So I'd love to hear from you. Comment right below which of those tools have helped you the most, and which ones are you the strongest in, and which ones do you feel like, okay, I may want to work on that a little bit more, and finally, of course, for those of you who stayed until the very end, this is my bonus secret, which is being a consistent communicator. Now, what that actually means is being clear. And what that means is saying, when we're communicating, we're not just communicating when we're feeling good, but we're also communicating when things are maybe not so easy, right? Like, oh my gosh, I need to lean in now. Oh my gosh, right? And also the other piece is to create clarity. When you say, you want to foster a friendship, what does that mean to you, right? Or when you say you want to get to know a person first, what does that mean to you, right? So not being afraid to ask questions, to communicate. Look, there's no couple that has ever broken up because there were too many questions. The opposite is the case. Most couples break up because there's a breakdown in communication. There's a lack of communication. There are so many assumptions. And again, the man will love it, right? He'll adore you forever because you're always communicating. You know, I see that with one of my clients right now. She met her man after working with me, of course. And it's so incredible, like to really see, right, how she's consistently leaning in and having the conversations, and he feels safer and safer to open up from his end as well, to share what's bothering him, right? So he's not going into his people pleaser, but he's actually going into, oh, what do I actually want, right? And that's of course healing for him as well. So that's how you really heal, is actually by communicating consistently, right? By really having like a back and forth and in and out, and a metabolization, like a digestion of what your man really needs and also what you really need. All right, we're at the end of this video. Up next is when a man deeply loves you, he'll start saying these 5 things. So if you haven't watched this, hop on over there. Lots of love to you, ladies, and I will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.